We go in Week 11 on EA Sports. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out will cost him about 5 yards as he'll get this only back to the 20.
Right there. 54 miles. Record. 36.
The first carry now. This is Johnson. And an early how do you do right there as they're going to bury him in the backfield. A loss of 2 there. Second down.
Nice play right there to stop him behind the line, but I want to see how this defense continues to play him here in the first half.
Yeah, we know. You know better than I. He has the ability to take over a game. So what do you do?
Yeah, I think you have to make sure that you bottle him in at varying levels, because if you crowd everyone to the line of scrimmage, if he breaks through, there's nothing but room to run.
Here's Johnson. 4 yards on the pickup there, and now they're left with a 3rd and 8.
Well, if you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
Throwing is Murray on 3rd down. Escaping the pressure right. Oh, he almost picked it. Nearly a turnover there on their opening drive. That's a throw he'd like to have back. Now 4th down.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
This is brought in at the 21. And when it's said and done, it's a 58-yard punt. And the Eagles will have it, taking over 1st and 10. Wentz and the Eagles now with a 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line.
Watch the shit. Hey. 1482.
Shotgun now for Wentz. The Cards get to him here. He's brought down for a sack. Chandler Jones make that now 8 sacks for him on the season. That's called setting the tone right away.
It certainly is, and it lets you know just how important communication is amongst the offensive line. They talk about it all the time, knowing each other's moves. You've got to be coordinated and in sync. Otherwise, your quarterback gets hit.
And this play a lot like the previous one, thanks to that stout Cardinal defense. Back-to-back, they've been tackled behind the line.
3rd down.
Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long.
64, weak, switch. Check 9. Kill.
Throwing is Wentz. He's going to air one out. And that is incomplete.
Nice play there to force the incompletion. And to me, one thing's for sure. When you're the underdogs and you're playing on the road, you absolutely have to get takeaways. You've got to get the ball from them.
Yeah, win that turnover battle, going to be key. They didn't get one there, but you get the feeling they keep making plays like that, they might just get a few.
Yeah, once you get one, defensive teams think they come in bunches.
51 yards on the punt there. And the Cards will take over 1st and 10. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. And to be frank, they're just in a tough spot. It's only November, already eliminated from playoff contention. I know their fan base doesn't want to hear that, but that's the case. What are they fighting for now going forward?
You know exactly what they're fighting for. Is that word that some people don't want to hear, but it's pride.
Draft. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go draft, but pride's better, right?
You know something? You're right, because that's part of it, but that's two different mindsets. That's front office mindset, draft position, where are we going to be and what do we need to get? And then the players and the coaching staff right now, pride. Can they win some games and feel better about themselves despite the fact they have no shot at the playoffs? That's a really good job right there. Just kept stringing that play out, pushing further and further towards the sideline. Really good fundamentals by that defense. He
was trying to put his foot in the ground and turn upfield. He just couldn't.
No, they really had a picket fence in front of him. No room to find to get upfield.
Here we go. Come on, check, block 54, block 54. I got him. Hey, look.
They'll try and run for it. Here's Johnson. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short. Just a 2-yard pickup, and that should necessitate a call for the punt team here on 4th down. On is the punt team now as this one's sent away. Oh, he's going to go ahead and field it from the 3-yard line. 12 yards on the return that time. And the Eagles will be backed up deep to get the drive started as they take over 1st and 10. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left. We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders. That
guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also isn't much margin for error for this team, right? Because right where they're sitting, a 2-game losing streak could have them out of the playoffs, so they've got to make sure they continue to keep the momentum going.
Absolutely. There's some sharks smelling blood in the water behind them. Now a play fake here on 1st down. He's going to loft this one deep left sideline. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's 2nd down.
One of the toughest things about playing defensive back is pattern reading, trying to figure out what they're doing. And on that one, they had the fly, just sending a guy downfield with the in route accompanying it, what people call a dagger route, trying to hit the guy underneath after the clear out. In this case, though, they're not able to get it done.
Yeah, they said forget the underneath route. They went for the guy on the fly, but as you said, incomplete. And this play a lot like the previous one, thanks to that stout Cardinal defense. Back-to-back, they've been tackled behind the line.
Hatchet. Great.
Now Wentz on 3rd down. Incomplete. He had his hands on it but couldn't pick it. But it's now 4th down.
I think the punter might start to get into a pretty good rhythm here if he keeps getting opportunities. But that's the last thing his team wants to have happen, right? The last thing you want to see is your punter feeling pretty good because he's out there all the time.
First quarter only, but they're 0 for 2 on 3rd down conversions to start this thing. Officially, that'll go as a 52-yard punt. Not too shabby. And the Cards are going to have the football with a 1st and 10 deep in their own territory. Ready to go with their next drive, and at the line, the Cardinal offense. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on 3rd down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a 1st down and change our momentum?
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run.
Check 3.
Now Murray throwing on 2nd down. Going up top. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. Christian Kirk, the man he was looking for, but now it'll be 3rd down.
He's second in the NFL in interceptions, and you understand why. He plays a game of great intelligence, understands positioning, and has a great ability to break on the football when it's in the air.
So fun to watch his closing speed, and another example of it on that play.
56 to Mike. 56 is the Mike. I got you. I got you, son. I got you. You're all mine. You're all
To throw on third down. Murray. And that will be incomplete.
Well, it certainly appears that they're going to try and keep getting him the football. It's the third time they've looked in his direction. Unfortunately, haven't completed one yet, but I'm not sure they're going to shy away from him. They feel like they've got something there, and they want to capitalize on it.
I think you're right. We're only in the first quarter, so a lot of opportunities ahead. Fielded at about the 28. Oh, shifty.
Whoa.
A great return there, bobbing and weaving his way for 31 yards. And the Eagles will have great starting field position here as they take over. Henderson now on 1st and 10. And here he'll be brought down a little shy of the 35 at the 36. Jalen Mills in on the stop. No score after one on EA Sports. Now second quarter action from Philadelphia, and it's the Eagles in possession as they are looking at a 2nd and 5 situation.
Gotta do better. Come on,
Play action. Now Wentz. There goes a deep ball, end zone. And this is going to wind up incomplete. The coverage there too strong on the deep ball, and now they face a third down.
They went with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. He loses 4, and it brings up 4th.
Brandon, one thing about blitzes, they really confuse offensive linemen at times, and what you have to do is lock in on the guy right in front of you. If you don't, you saw the end result. Defensive tackle ended up making the play.
Here we go. 180. Okay, we got to get this stop here, D.
Wentz going to go on 4th down. Got his man. It's Arcega-Whiteside. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop him. A gain of 26 and a conversion there as well on 4th down. And power running here down to the 6-yard line. A solid run on 1st down. Gain of 7 leaves him with a 2nd and 3.
That play wasn't quite as big as the play that preceded it, but still, got to like the way they're moving the football, partner.
Absolutely. Pretty good room to run on that last play.
Yeah, they didn't get a 1st down, but still, you'll take runs like that each and every time, won't you?
Now a fake on the give here as they try the run-pass option. And that'll be incomplete. We do have a penalty flag down, however. Let's see what that's about.
Here we go. 280. Out of time, let's get off the field.
They'll run here with Henderson. And hit behind the line. He lost the football. It's loose.
Wow, that ball gets knocked free, but a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. And that one covered beautifully. Their defenders stayed home, and they'll stop him behind the line. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up 3rd down.
Let's get it. Here we go. Pac-Man. 120. Let's go, D. Big Sears right here. We got to step it up. Here. Hey, Mike 52, Mike 52. Here we go.
Wentz now on 3rd and goal. And that's going to be caught for an Eagles touchdown. A 9-yard touchdown grab. as his guys are first onto the scoreboard here this afternoon. Well, that's about as quick of a passing touchdown as you'll ever see right there.
Everyone has a section in their playbook called the quick game. That was a super quick game. Out of the hands of the thrower, bam, right to the receiver, successfully for a touchdown.
How in-depth is that quick game part of the playbook?
It's pretty in-depth because people want the ball out of the hands of the quarterback into the playmaker's hands downfield as fast as possible. There are a lot of plays, a lot of options involved with that.
The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. The results for them so far, not that great. Well, not good at all. 3 drives, 3 punts.
Yeah, and now what you're doing is you're looking at your play sheet. You're trying to figure out what you're going against defensively. I wonder, are they showing them something they haven't seen or anticipated in practice, and maybe that's throwing them off? Or do they just have to go to a different play calling section and try and run some offense that way?
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Second down, Murray sets to throw. Trying to lay one up deep. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there, trying to take a shot, but it's 3rd down.
That's very well timed there defensively because it's not a bad throw, but the collision came at the exact time he was reaching to bring in the football. Really, really well done.
Decent offense, just better defense. I think you're right. So the failure to connect on 2nd down, that leaves them staring up here at a 3rd and 8. From the gun on 3rd down, Murray. And able to find Kirk complete. And they work this well upfield across the 45. It's a gain of 20 and picking up the first.
Check 56. Check right. Mike's 56. Mike's 56. Let's go, defense. Our top. Go. Hey, switch gears. Show me.
First down, Murray. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Murray. And that'll be incomplete. Good protection that time, and they couldn't hook up on the long one. Now it's 3rd down. Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better. Got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They got to find a way to bring those two elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked by Deontay Thompson. And he'll return this one just shy of midfield to the 49. He has just been alone for opposing offenses to account for now 8 interceptions on the year.
I love that number because I always think of center field. You know, when I hear 8, because that's the position you write in the scorecard in baseball. And what do good center fielders do? Take away all the alleys, right? They range deep and make a whole lot of great catches.
The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. Things progressing to plan so far. Their defense has been solid, and they've got themselves a 7-0 lead after the touchdown the last time they had the ball.
And this is no time to even think about, hey, are we going to milk the clock? Hey, are we just going to do ball control? This is the NFL. 7-0 leads, they don't last very long unless you continue to push the envelope on offense.
Now a throw to the end zone on 1st down, but it winds up incomplete. So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10.
Tyson. Alert 3. He's checking.
Recon, 132 fighter.
To throw, it's Wentz. Caught here by Conley. And this will be stopped at the 44. That one good for 7 yards. The reception good for 7. It's third down. 2 minutes on the clock, second quarter, 7-0 ball game. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
Throwing now is Wentz. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
And what would the dime look that time on defense? Just flooded the field with defensive backs, blanketed everyone, took away all the passing angles, thus the incompletion.
The Eagles send out their punter now as he's on here to punt it away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away.
That is how you flip field position. That's an absolute bomb of a punt. Downs it inside the 5-yard line. Absolutely ideal.
And from that position, you're hoping to get it down inside the 15, inside the 5. Superb. The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. They've shown precious little here offensively thus far as they try again with a first down now. Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. And this is going to be intercepted. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson with a pick. And they will finally put it into the return, but not until he takes it back all the way inside the 10-yard line. Andy Isabella was the intended target. Suddenly it's first and goal after the interception. A quick change in the situation here. They'll try and run for it on first and goal. And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line. That sends him 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to second down. Moved back to the 10. They'll try on second and goal here.
I can't believe they even let you play.
Wentz. Throw right side, going to be taken in by Henderson. And he'll take it into the end zone for an Eagles touchdown. Carson Wentz with 2 first-half touchdown passes. And the Eagles able to push further out in front. It seemed like they were so focused on the guys out wide, they forgot about him out of the backfield.
That's a really good point because you've got to communicate, and oftentimes when you start counting receivers, that's exactly what you do. You start from the widest receiver, work your way inside. Who gets lost sometimes? The back in the backfield. That's exactly what happened there.
And he got into the end zone. Ready to go with their next drive, and at the line, the Cardinal offense. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. And they're in a bind early here, down 14-0. Are you worried at this stage or still too early?
You're worried. You're just trying not to transmit it to the rest of your team. You want to make sure that they stay positive. But at the same time, you're wondering, how are we going to move the football? What do we have on this play sheet that can work? Get back to basics is usually your answer. And make sure you find the guy who can move the ball fastest for you if you just get it in his hands.
Yeah, still second quarter. You get points on the board here. I think you're feeling okay. Gets this to Isabella on the jet sweep. And across the midfield stripe into Eagle territory. The Cardinals going to use the first of their timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. The Cardinals on third down, just 1 for 5 to this point. Here it's 3rd and 2. They'll try and run for it. Here's Hill. And that one going nowhere from the start as he's met in the backfield and goes backwards. The Eagles going to take the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 34 seconds to go before halftime. Cliff Kingsbury, part of that new breed of head coaches, and his guys are going to go for it. They're going for it. It's Murray. And my goodness, this is incomplete. The Cardinals unable to convert there on 4th down. And this defense will take over right near midfield at the 49-yard line. Now the Eagles will use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
He's going to take a shot right away for the end zone. And this is going to be intercepted. Chidobe Awuzie with a pick. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. They are in an interception mood on defense. Had 2 nice interceptions a week ago. Now 2 here in the first half.
Yeah, we call it ball hawking. And the only way to truly be good ball hawks is not guessing. It's not just simply anticipation. It's study and understanding what they like to do and beating them to the spot and creating big plays.
They're watching the film, and it's working.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
To throw again on second down. Murray going for the deep ball. And that'll be incomplete with 11 seconds remaining now. Andy Isabella was the intended target, and it's 3rd down.
It's 3rd down and 6 yards to go.
The Cardinals on 3rd down. They've had their troubles, just 1 for 6. This will be 3rd and 6. Shotgun now for Murray. He's going to look deep down the field. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
Intended for Christian Kirk. Incomplete. Brings up 4th down.
And likely time for one final play here in the half, so they will go for it on 4th down.
Mike 52, Mike 52. Watch the screen, watch the screen. Watch the screen. Check.
A final shot before half from Murray. Looking deep downfield. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete. So we come upon halftime with our score 14-0 as we'll get you down the coast to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach! So the Eagles with the lead, and they're going to get this football first as the 3rd quarter gets underway. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll score! Touchdown, Eagles. That's going to be a 103-yard kickoff return. What a run. And the Eagles able to push further out in front. Always important to get the first score of the second half. Now you start to pull away a little bit and get some breathing room going.
And now we find out about the fortitude of the group that's behind, because they were counting on getting into the game a little bit more, right? Maybe they get the first score. That doesn't happen. It looks almost insurmountable, but it's not. Let's see how hard they play the rest of the game.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll probably wish he'd reconsidered here. It will cost him 10 yards as he's down at the 15.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. They come out here with a 0 on the scoreboard. What was said in that locker room? That's what I want to know.
I would love to have been in there, because we often have the feeling that there's a lot of shouting, screaming, people upset. But typically, halftime locker rooms are a lot more clinical than that. And in this case, are they upset that the plays weren't working because of execution? Or did they think they were just bad plays to call?
Yeah.
We'll find out pretty quickly here if they feel like they had something going, but they just need to do it a little bit better or not.
We'll find out. They'll try the jet sweep with Kirk. He'll have a first down past the 40 and brought down across the 50 to the 49-yard line. A good pickup there, 26 yards. Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, here's Murray. Flushed out right. And this is caught at the 20. That one goes for 30 yards.
They're still looking for their first touchdown of the game, and for a second, I thought they had it right there.
Looking on the sideline, it's finally good to see nods of approval. It's a welcome sign of life that this offense needed. On the ground, this is Johnson. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down. After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. They go to Johnson again. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And that's going to lead to a 3rd down. To throw, it's Murray. Eluding the pressure right. He can run for it, and he will. And he is out of bounds, getting it down to the 10. Pretty solid gain of 7 yards that time as he scrambled, but now they face a 4th down.
Okay, he's not going to get the first down, but this is still a nice job of buying some time and then running to get to the sideline and get out of bounds and avoid the big hit.
I guess they figure they got to start taking some chances. Here's a big one in this 3rd quarter as he'll go for it on 4th down. And the surge is going to be too much defensively. He's hit and taken down to the backfield. He only needed a yard, but he couldn't even get back to the line of scrimmage. And the Eagles defense able to hold. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And last time wasn't pretty. One play and an interception. We'll see if they can do better.
I want to see if they want to go.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. Chandler Jones in there to get him. And on the season now, that is 9 sacks for him.
That's his 2nd sack of the game, and the best defensive ends, they do their homework as much as offensive guys do. They know how to beat the offensive lineman across from them, what moves they need to do to set them up. This guy's been pretty good at it all game long.
And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. And they only get a yard back there. They'll be left with a 3rd down and long.
go. 180.
Good track, good track.
Hey, we go 37's the Mike. Mike 37.
Working from the gun. Wentz. Flush to his right. He's going to run, but he's got a long way to go. Only able to get back a yard for his efforts, and that leads us to 4th down.
How about a tip of the cap to the defense? They're working against a very mobile quarterback, but all day long they've kept him under wraps. And on that play, they held him to a short gain.
The Eagles send out their punter now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And he's able to get it out of there, and this is a pretty good kick.
Let's go.
43-yard line.
Ready to go with their next drive, and at the line, the Cardinal offense. And on the last drive, they were in field goal range. They just opted not to kick it, didn't get it. How does that change the mentality this go around?
I don't think it changes much for the head coach because this is what he preaches all the time. Attack at all times in any spot on the field, and he likes touchdowns, not field goals. Now, your field goal kicker, you've got to make sure you nurse him through and say, okay, don't worry about it. When we need you, you've got to be ready to go. And the team, of course, loves to see points on the board. So let's see if it changes a little bit if they're in the same spot again.
Yeah, we'll see what the decision is here if they get to that spot. And the play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back near the 40 at the 39. It's a loss of 4. Now 3rd down.
I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
Watch the curl. Check 43.
Check 52. Check 4. Check 4.
Murray with a 3rd and long. He's going to air one out. And that's going to wind up incomplete. However, we do have a flag down. Let's check in with our referee. Thought they were going to force a 4th down. Instead, PI gives them the 1st.
And that's frustrating because you think you've taken them really deep into the count, haven't you? Instead, you've got to start all over. That can really, really be demoralizing.
Following the penalty, it's Johnson. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. Different story this time around. We had that huge gain followed by a sizable loss here. And the stop will come inside the 5 at the 4. It's a pickup of 12, and that'll set up a 3rd down.
You don't see me in your nightmare, sir. You don't see me in your nightmare.
Whip. Watch the whip.
On 3rd down, Johnson. And he will get into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. David Johnson with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Cardinals cut into that lead. Gonzalez good on the extra point, and they'll cut the lead to 21-7. Now after the touchdown, here's Gonzalez on to kick it away. This is taken at the 3. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. Certainly want to avoid what they had to do last possession, and that was punt the football, because this game's starting to tighten up.
In a basketball sense, you think about taking a little bit of the air out of the ball, right? Maybe milk some clock, limit the possessions. In this case, they might want to do the same thing, but control the game offensively. Put together some first downs, put together a drive, and keep it away from them.
82. Check Mike 57. Mike 57.
On play action, it's Wentz. Looking deep for his tight end, and that's caught inside the 35. And he's going to get this deep onto Arizona's side of the field. A big play there for Philly. And even 60 yards.
56. Mike, 56. Go.
Into the red zone. Wentz. And this is caught. Touchdown, Philadelphia. 3 touchdown passes now for Carson Wentz. And the Eagles able to push further out in front. They were still throwing with a comfortable lead here late, and now that lead even more comfortable.
And your first thought is there bad blood that went into this one ahead of time, that maybe they're seeking some revenge or they just don't like them? But the other thing that always hits me is, are they worried about playoff positioning? Right? Are they worried about, do you need enough points in case there's a tiebreaker that comes into play later?
And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line.
Let's go.
The offense now at the line, ready for their next drive. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Murray looks to throw again, 2nd and 10. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
I think this one offensively, this is one where you just say, let's move on. Let's not even watch the game tapes from this one.
Yeah, you might just want to throw it in the trash, act like it was never there in the first place.
Yeah, just say we're good. I actually have heard of a coach in the past who took his team out to the practice field and ceremonially buried the game films from the prior game when they got clobbered. That was his way of putting it behind him.
Able to find Isabella. And he'll be corralled well upfield right around the 40-yard line. A big third down pickup of 20 yards. Murray now, 5 straight completions here in this second half. 1st and 10. Murray's throw on target to Christian Kirk. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. A good gain again. That's now 31 yards combined on those last 2 plays. A first down carry here for Johnson. And that play goes nowhere. Taken down, losing yardage at the 50, right at midfield. It'll be a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd and 11.
Brings up 2nd and 11 at the 50-yard line.
52 is the mic right here, over there, right? 52 is the mic. I'm coming! I'm coming! I'm coming! Pick the edge! Come! 36!
Here's Murray from midfield. Completing it to the right side, Johnson. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage on the play back at the 46. Really good defensive effort. They were all over that little swing pass out to the right side before lost yardage.
Terrific read, better execution, and done with a lot of enthusiasm, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
They saw it all the way, ran to the football, and caused a nice play for lost yardage.
Here's Murray. He's going to wind up and air it out. And that'll wind up incomplete. Bold play call there. Now it's 4th down. It's been this way most of the afternoon, hasn't it? This secondary really put this receiving core on lockdown.
Listen, they've worked together like a basketball team that's playing excellent defense. Great communication, doesn't matter whether it's man or zone. And especially against deep balls, as we saw there, they're not giving up anything to them.
Murray and company going for it on 4th. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by Ronald Darby. And he is going to get this one back to the 20-yard line. Andy Isabella was the intended target.
Well, this defensive pressure has been constant all game long. The pass rush, the coverage, they've all been excellent, and now they'll tack on an interception here as this one continues to slip just further and further out of hand.
Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. Now, that turnover might just about do it here. Fourth quarter, the lead that you've got, they can just run the football, run the clock.
Exactly right. They played smart, couple of first downs, and this one should just about be over.
Looking for more there on first down, but this throw downfield, incomplete. Charles, thinking back to what you said in the first quarter, that part of the magic elixir for a road victory for these underdogs was going to be winning the turnover battle. Well, they only have one right now. Look at the scoreboard.
Yeah, not exactly playing to the form that I subscribed, right? When you talk about winning that turnover battle, that evens things out, especially for a road team, especially for a team that's an underdog.
He's going to fire one deep over the middle. Into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Byron Murphy. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, the intended receiver. Charles, whatever's going on between his ears right now, it's just not completely calculated correctly. 7 picks between last week and this week after that one.
And they always say the most important part of a player is those 6 inches between the ears. But right now, it's all those interceptions that are going on. So whoever his trusted confidant is on the sidelines, I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach, maybe the backup quarterback, that's who he needs to get with now and get himself calm.
The drive starts with a completion left side, and he almost gets this to the 30, taken down about a yard shy. A gain of 11 to kick off the drive, and it's a quick first down.
Hey, come on out here. Come get some. Come get some. Come on here. Come get some.
Murray now on first down. Escaping the pressure right. And he gets this up to the 34 out of bounds there. He'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's second down.
Yeah, he only gets a few yards on 1st and 10, but he's better off doing that than throwing an incompletion or even worse, an interception.
4 receivers to keep tabs on here. 3 of them to the right side on 2nd and 5.
Hey, it's all right. Little Mike 52. Mike 52. Come on, boy. You better be ready. Don't be scared of it.
Murray going to throw. Eagle pressure, too much this time. Down he goes. The sack by Brandon Graham. He's been doing that since he entered the league in 2010.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. Throwing on 3rd and long. Murray, he's going to loft one deep left side here. And that's caught inside the 30. Touchdown, Cardinals. Dylan Mitchell, 77 yards. And the Cardinals get a bit closer.
You got to understand situational football because they're playing with the lead here late in the ball game. So the back defender has got to be as deep as the deepest receiver. Keep everything in front of you, rally up and make the play.
Yeah, you would think they had the 3-score lead. Now it's down to 2, but 3-score lead here late, that they wouldn't give up a big pass play like that, but they did. This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll take this up past the 20 and down at the 22-yard line. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. Well, don't look now, but they've got a little bit of a battle on their hands again. Back to a 2-score game. The interception that led to a touchdown. You'd have to think they're a little more careful here if they do indeed try to throw the football.
Yeah, and I was a little surprised by the last throw. You know, that type of throw with this type of a game, I'm going to be very careful about it. Maybe the only throw you make is maybe a toss to your halfback or something like that. Otherwise, take care of the thing and finish this bad boy off.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again 2nd and 10.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Now Wentz. Down under 2 minutes to go in this football game. And he almost had it defensively. Could have been a game changer there in this second half. Instead, it's third down. So it's Eagle football here as we get you reset. They've got a third down now as they look for one more first down to help salt this one away.
58 to Mike, 58 to Mike.
Now Wentz. Flushed out right. Now on the run. He'll throw it back deep over the middle. And it's knocked away and incomplete. Despite the lead here in the fourth, they're still taking shots.
Not content to sit on this lead at all. And to me, it raises the question of what's right in this game nowadays. Do you sit on the ball and run it because you have enough of a lead? Or do you try and extend it because you always feel like the other team can come back?
Extend it. Have some fun.
The Cardinals take over first and 10 at their own 28-yard line.
Ready to go with their next drive, and at the line, the Cardinal offense. And they will simply, Charles, be looking to duplicate what they did last drive when they were able to push it in for 6.
And they hope it'll be that easy, right? To be able to take exactly what happened before, replicate it. They may have to make a few additional changes along the way because I'm sure the defense will make some adjustments, but they've got to have great confidence having scored the last time out.
Murray now. And an alley to run. And he will avoid the contact as he slides to a stop. This drive starting off on the right foot, 18 yards.
Looks to me, partner, like he's learned a little bit because earlier in the game, I think he was trying to force a lot of throws into some windows that just weren't open.
Yeah, the interceptions had plagued him, especially a second interception, really a bad throw, so maybe a better decision there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think he learned from earlier in the game, and he's applying it now.
Watch it. Hey, alert 3. Watch it.
Throwing on first down is Murray. Eluding the pressure right. He's got this one complete to Sherfield. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. Now that's one they hate. The ball's got to come all the way back.
So that's an explosive play, a really explosive play that gets wiped out, and they have to start over after the penalty.
Out of the gun, here's Murray. He's going to let it fly. And he couldn't hang on. Would have been their 4th pick of the game. Instead, second down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And, look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually, that becomes man-on-man. And you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be third down. Tried to go for the big one there on second down. Now they're likely down to their final 2 plays.
And you know they've got to keep going for the big shot, right? So defensively, you play what they call top down. Nothing behind you. Make everything get completed in front.
Check. Lucky.
Throwing on third and long. Murray. And that'll be incomplete. Well, they took their shot all right, but it comes up empty, and it's fourth down.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, fourth quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield.
What we got? Hatchet. Shoot.
Murray sets to throw on fourth. He's going to let it fly. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. Picked by Deontay Thompson, and they're going to set up shop at the 27-yard line. Well, on fourth down, that turned out like a punt. Maybe he was better defensively there just to knock it down.
And you know they go over those situations. All right, fourth down, where's the ball? Where would we get the ball? But instinct takes over, and when it's in the air, they just go and get it. So it's hard to get on him for intercepting it, but the smart play would have been what you suggested. Knock it down and take over in a deeper position.
Throwing now is Wentz. Pressure comes, and the Cardinals bring him down. Now the Cards going to call another timeout, their second. as they'll stop it with 25 ticks remaining on the clock. Work to be done here on 2nd and 16 after the sack.
You ain't got nothing. Hey, we're 5-2. Come here.
Play action. Now Wentz. He sets to fire deep. And he almost had it defensively. Could have been a game changer there in this second half. Instead, it's 3rd down.
I think he's taking an awful chance with the football right there. You've got to lead, you've got to protect it, and he's taking chances putting it out there in a little bit of jeopardy.
Especially in a spot like this, 4th quarter, as you said, trying to cling to that advantage.
Yeah, that one probably should have been picked, huh?
The Cardinals forced to burn their 3rd and final timeout as they'll stop it with 13 seconds left to play. The Eagles send out their punter now. He's been terrific so far. Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. Here's Bird to return. So possession goes over here on the punt. And there'll be time for maybe one final play before we hit triple zeros. The offense back out there at the line, ready for their next drive. This is just an exercise in futility. Do you even bother running a play here offensively?
I wouldn't, because now is not going to erase what's happened during the game. So after it's over, you're going to go to the film, find out where the game was really lost. But this is not a situation now where you're going to make up for anything.
We'll see what they do here. So it's a victory here for the Philadelphia Eagles. And to be frank, Charles, probably not too many people surprised at how this one turned out.
Yeah, I don't think so at all. I mean, they're such a good football team. They were at home. You know, you walked in and you looked at the advantages and you saw that they had most of them. It'd take a lot to try and even it up.